We're looking at instances where a blockbuster trade turned out to be lose-lose.
Fields blew it, the Bears blew it, and if you're saying it's only one person's fault, you blew it.
Not many long to think of the most lopsided trades in NFL history. But on this list, here are 10 NFL trades where both teams inexplicably got worse. The RG3 draft blockbuster. The St. Louis Rams held the number 2 pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, a class headlined by 2 can't-miss QB prospects in Stanford's Andrew Luck and Baylor's Robert Griffin III. But having used the number 1 pick on Sam Bradford 2 years earlier, the Rams were open for business and fielded the best offers for the 2nd overall selection. Knowing the Colts would take Andrew Luck with the top choice, Washington was still happy to pay an arm and a leg for the Rams pick. Unfortunately though, Griffin's rookie year was his absolute peak. Griffin's career was quickly derailed by the injury bug, thanks mainly to the misuse of him by Washington's coaches and medical staff, who showed zero regard for his well-being when he was dealing with a serious knee issue in his rookie year. Though after a disappointing 2013 and 2014 seasons, Griffin lost his starting job to Kirk Cousins in 2015 and was released. The franchise would cycle through quarterbacks over the next 9 years before finally hitting on Jaden Daniels in 2024. The Rams did no better with their haul, drafting mostly bust, non-impact players and dudes who were out of the league relatively quickly. 2 for 1, Antonio Brown burned Steelers and Raiders. The Pittsburgh Steelers were willing to put up with Antonio Brown's immature me-first behavior if it meant that they were still winning. For all the baggage that he carried, Brown was by far the NFL's best receiver during a 5-year stretch from 2014 to 2018, and easily on a Hall of Fame trajectory. But Brown's personal relationship with teammate Ben Roethlisberger absolutely imploded before their Week 18 must-win game against the Cincinnati Bengals. He no-showed the game and then demanded a trade, which the Steelers were happy to do. Pittsburgh then traded AB to the Oakland Raiders in exchange for 2019 3rd and 5th round picks. Brown should have welcomed the fresh start and the chance to play with the ultimate players coach, John Gruden. But, as we all know, Brown just couldn't behave and play football like a normal person. He almost fought his own GM, Mike Mayock, threatened to retire because his preferred helmet style was banned, and then received frostbite after failing to wear the proper footwear in a cryotherapy session. Brown was released by the Raiders before the season started, and thus left them without a WR1, having traded Amari Cooper to the Dallas Cowboys just a year earlier. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, got a future Pro Bowl wideout in Deontay Johnson with the 3rd round pick from Oakland, but he never got even close to becoming the game-changing force that AB was. The Steelers have been mired in mediocrity ever since that trade, unable to replace the talents of the mercurial wide receiver. Vikings and Raiders team up for failed Randy Moss blockbuster. In the 2005 offseason, the future Canton member was dealt to the Oakland Raiders in exchange for the number 7 pick that year, a 7th round selection, and linebacker Napoleon Harris. And with the number 7 pick, Minnesota took South Carolina wideout Troy Williamson. Williamson never topped 455 receiving yards in a season with Minnie. Harris was also a non-impact player, and the Vikings went from perennial Super Bowl contender to mired in mediocrity for the better part of the next decade plus. Moss totaled 102 receptions for 1,558 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2 years with the Raiders. Tired of his antics and lackluster production, Moss was traded to the New England Patriots for a 4th round pick. If our memory serves us correctly, Moss and Tom Brady were a pretty good tandem together. But the Moss trade involving both the Vikings and the Raiders was just a lose-lose all around. Falcons flipped Matt Ryan to Colts. After the failed 1-year Carson Wentz experiment, the Colts traded him to the Washington Commanders and snagged longtime Atlanta Falcons starter Matt Ryan in a 2022 offseason blockbuster. The Falcons had no choice but to trade Ryan after awkwardly pursuing the very troubled Deshaun Watson. Ryan was understandably a little bit hurt by that and welcomed the move to Indy. But in hindsight, it was a failure of a trade for both teams. Ryan really should have just finished his career in Atlanta, and the Colts should have, just not traded for another aging signal caller on borrowed time. Ryan went 4-7-1 as Indy starter with 14 touchdowns against 13 interceptions, getting benched in favor of Nick Foles and Sam Ehlinger. Head coach Frank Reich was fired and curiously replaced by Colts legend Jeff Saturday, who had 0 NFL coaching experience. So the Colts then moved on from Ryan after the year and tried again at QB by taking Anthony Richardson 4th overall in 2023. The Falcons used the 3rd round pick acquired in the trade on edge rusher D'Angelo Malone, who never really amounted to much of anything. Meanwhile, the Falcons tried out Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, and Taylor Heineke at QB in the first 2 years of the post-Ryan era, and that only led them to overpaying for Kirk Cousins in 2024 free agency before ultimately benching him in favor of Michael Penix Jr. Seahawks go go all in for Jamal Adams. Adams was one of the NFL's premier defensive players during his 3 seasons with the New York Jets, earning 2 Pro Bowl nods plus 2018 second team and 2019 first team All-Pro honors. Unhappy with the Jets' losing culture, Adams requested a trade in the 2020 offseason. Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks were happy to do business. Adams had 1 good season in Seattle, earning Pro Bowl honors in 2020 after setting the single-season record for sacks by a defensive back with 9.5. The Hawks won the NFC West Division crown, but were throttled by the Los Angeles Rams on Wild Card Weekend. They then missed the playoffs in 2022 and 2023, though they did snag a wild card berth in 2022. But in that season, Adams suffered a season-ending injury in Week 1, meaning that he made no impact over his final 3 years in Seattle. Less than 3 years after giving Adams a $70 million extension, the Seahawks released him in the 2024 offseason. Yes, the Jets would use the first-rounders picked up from Seattle and standout offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker and superstar wideout Garrett Wilson, but the team hasn't gotten any better since trading Adams. Dolphins pass on Drew Brees, choose Dante Culpepper. Culpepper was one of the NFL's premier signal callers during his run with the Vikings. He and Randy Moss were must-watch TV every week and led to the 2000 NFC Championship game and 2004 divisional round. However, after he missed most of the 2005 season, Culpepper and the Vikings disagreed about his injury recovery program and contract status. Culpepper publicly declared that he wanted out. Miami Dolphins looked at free agent Drew Brees, but had concerns about him recovering from a serious shoulder injury. So they passed on Brees, who ended up signing with the New Orleans Saints. And, well, the rest there is history. The Dolphins gave up a second-round pick to Minnesota for Culpepper in the 2006 offseason. The Vikings finished 6-10 and 8-8 over the next 2 years. Culpepper played just 4 games in Miami, with injuries derailing his entire season. The Dolphins then released him in the offseason and finished a league-worst 1-15 in 2007. Trent Richardson for Johnny Manziel. The Indianapolis Colts viewed T-Rich as the missing piece in their offense. 2 games into the 2013 season, the Cleveland Browns traded the former number 3 selection of 2012 in exchange for a 2014 first-round pick. Richardson flopped in Indianapolis, rushing for 977 yards and 6 touchdowns in 29 games. He averaged 3.1 yards a carry and fumbled 4 times. Yes, the Colts won the AFC South crowns in 2013 and 2014 and reached the AFC Championship game in the latter year. But Richardson had absolutely nothing to do with that success, and the Colts burned a valuable potential franchise-changing pick to get him. They then proceeded to miss the playoffs each of the next 3 years. The Browns got the number 26 pick of 2014 via Indianapolis, but traded it to the Philadelphia Eagles in order to move up and take Johnny Manziel. The media darling and former Heisman Trophy winner was an absolute flop in Cleveland, making just 8 starts in the pros. The Browns remained the NFL's laughingstock for the next 5 years, including a 1-win season in 2016 and a 0-16 season in 2017. Rivas Island relocates to Tampa Bay. Daryl Rivas was the NFL's best cornerback during his run with the Jets. They boasted one of the league's best defenses and reached consecutive AFC Championship games in 2009 and 2010. All thanks to Rivas putting the opposing number 1 receiver on his personal island. The Jets didn't want to pay Rivas top dollar on his new deal, though. So he was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2013 in exchange for the number 13 selection and a 2014 4th-rounder. Rivas then signed a 6-year, $96 million extension with his new team. Rivas was supposed to help Tampa emerge as a playoff team, having finished a respectable 7-9 the year before. Now, he was solid, but not the complete game changer that we saw with the Jets, and the Bucs cut him after just 1 year following a 4-12 finish. The Jets then used the number 13 pick from the Bucs on future Pro Bowl defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson, but he didn't move the needle as much as prime Daryl Rivas did. To make matters even worse, Rivas won his Super Bowl 49 ring with the arch-rival New England Patriots in 2014. Bears trade up for Justin Fields. Having given up on Mitch Trubisky, the Chicago Bears went all in to move up and select Justin Fields in the 2021 draft day blockbuster with the New York Giants. Chicago was coming off an 8-9 season and surprise wildcard appearance when they traded for Fields. They went 6-11, 3-14, and 7-10 over the next 3 years before giving up on Fields and trading him to the Steelers in 2024 so they could use the number 1 pick of that year on Caleb Williams. The Giants would use the pair of first-rounders from Chicago on Florida wideout Kadarius Toney and Alabama tackle Evan Neal. Both went on to become big-time busts. Cowboys and Lions swing and miss on Roy Williams' deal. The Dallas Cowboys already had Pro Bowl safety Roy Williams leading the secondary, but they had their eyes set on the other Roy Williams, a Pro Bowl wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. During the 2008 season, the Lions sent Williams, the receiver, and a 7th-round pick to the Cowboys for their 1st, 3rd, and 6th-round picks in 2009. But the Cowboys inexplicably unraveled late in the year and finished 9-7, missing out completely on the postseason. They then won the NFC East and a wildcard game in 2009, but followed that up by missing the postseason in the next 4 years. And in 2.5 years with Dallas, Williams registered just 94 receptions for 1,324 yards and 13 touchdowns. These Lions, by the way, went on to finish the season 0-16. So, yeah, they definitely missed Williams. But hey, which other NFL trades wound up making both teams worse? Do you agree with the choices on our list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.